Sundays with Sam. I'm your host, Sam Bear.
And I'm your assistant co-host, intern, Boomtown, Sam Silverman.
Yeah. I'm excited for this week's topic.
Yeah, we're going to
do... Because I didn't have to come up with it.
You come up with it. Yeah, Sam usually comes up with the topics. Listen, that's the job when you're the real host.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the intern sets up the technology and lets the talent do its work.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be leading today, so...
Am I? That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
Fantastic. We're doing favorite birthdays. Favorite birthdays before the age of 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before you could legally buy any type of illicit materials, mind-altering substances, other things like that.
Right.
So this is inspired because my wife, it was her birthday yesterday, Kelly Stevens, hashtag to her.
Private Practice Pro, give her a follow, give her a listen, give her a like.
Yeah, she doesn't really need our follows, but...
She doesn't.
No, she has way more than both of us combined. Both of us combined, times 2. So she's insane. Yeah.
I haven't checked her following in a while.
She has well over 50,000. It's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, it's gross.
We pulled all our following from every social media.
There we go.
Then we could compete with one platform of her.
Absolutely. Then we could do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so favorite birthdays. Do you want me to dive in or do you want me to interview you here?
You can.
I'm going to interview you.
Yeah.
What was your favorite birthday growing up? And why?
Yeah, the first one, because it's how I started life. That was a favorite.
Are you one of those people who thinks that they remember when they were born and their first birthday?
No, okay. I don't.
Because I have an insane memory and
and even I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it's true. Even I. So when people say that, I'm like, you don't.
No,
your mind has created and consolidated something that you think is a memory of you coming out of your mother. Yeah, literally, but it's not the case. It's not in reality.
No. I do remember one birthday that I really liked. I think I was 5 and maybe I was 4. I don't know. It all kind of meshes.
4 going on 5 or 5 going on 6?
Oh, 4 going on 5.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. That fits the 2 random numbers you selected well. So
exactly. And I had a really pretty dress on. I was big into dresses. I remember I would look back at pictures of me as a small child, and I was like, Mom, why didn't you ever put me in pants? Of course, very accusatory language. She's like, why didn't I put you in pants? She's like, you refuse to wear pants. That's why you're in dresses and tights until about 6, when all of a sudden you're like, oh, wear jeans now.
Listen, if I know one thing about you, it is that you believe in the strict adherence to gender norms.
Yeah.
In a heteronormative context.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's you.
Uh-huh. But I had this really great, we called it La Bamba dresses. If you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. It's just kind of like an extra fancy dress. So I remember that, yeah, it's very over the top, but I loved it. And
the casual version is Bamba, and the fancy is La Bamba.
I guess, yeah.
That's fantastic. Wonderful.
We would always check the twirl factor. When you twirl, how much did it go up?
I interpreted based on context.
Well, I wanted to be clear that you understood the importance of the twirl factor.
Really, for the audience members, as I understand everything. Yeah.
And I just remember that there was a lot, it just felt like a good party. I don't even think I had a lot of my own friends there, but still at that age, my parents had a lot of their friends. They have a really, you've been to their house. They have a really good backyard area. I think their home flows really well for a gathering. It just has good flow. Some houses don't have good flow.
Some houses do not have good flow.
You got to put everybody in one space, and that space is good. But I really just think their house has a really good flow.
You have all the common area, the way that it goes together from the inside to the outside, from the front door all the way through. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
And it,
they had no say in that. I mean, the house was already built, but
I just also love the fact that you were that is still the same house that you grew up in. I lived in a few different places, and just the fact that you all the way through, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how kind of not or how unique that is. I mean, just like a lot of things when you grow up that have been your norm, you're like, oh, this isn't. Everybody else isn't like this, but I never moved as a child. That's the home.
Is that the home you were in when your mother birthed you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there wasn't even a move.
Between prior, like in the infancy, other things like
No,
that. Yeah.
no, none of. Yeah,
Well,
it's not
obviously
even like.
prior
Well,
because
right.
they weren't born there either.
No, yeah. They. I mean, they moved from San Diego
Mm.
to Santa Barbara, but all of that was before me. So that's the only house.
It's meaningless.
Just yeah. What was that?
Yeah.
What is life before?
It's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life was meaningless before your sentience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Which is interesting because as someone without children, my life actually has a lot of meaning. But for my parents, theirs was like, yeah, make some more noise when I talk. Thank you. You just, what bizarre noises can Sam make?
It's actually making less noise now that I'm trying to do it, which is just absurd. Yeah.
But I remember there was a lot of people, I think a lot of their friends, but their adult friends who knew how to be around kids. And there are some adults who are jerks around kids. Like if you're invited to a child's birthday, even if it's like adult forward, like there's more adults than kids. If the kid is there and comes up to you, address them, be nice to them. Like,
yeah, totally.
You're eating and drinking on their parents' dime.
Yeah, and there's some.
The only reason they had you is to kind of celebrate their kid. Like, just say hello. Okay, I don't know. There's some adults who are.
Can I share two anecdotes in this regard here? Because I think it's really important. One's going to benefit you, and then one's going to be solely egotistical. So, crew, I just want to let you know, today, by the way, I have a 3.5-year-old and like a 2-month-old.
He's not sure on their ages.
Yeah, roughly speaking. Anyway, Sam came over dressed as a Tyrannosaurus Rex for my 3.5-year-old, and he loved it. It was really cool. So just goes to show, like, you put in that little bit of extra effort, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now here's a story about me, though, which is great. When I was 13, I had been a bar mitzvah, Jewish, obviously. Mm-hmm. So anyway, did you have a bar mitzvah?
I did.
Yeah, I thought you did, but I didn't want to assume just because I mean, like, you can still be Jewish without having that. But so anyway, I had my bar mitzvah, and one of my grandmother's friends came up, and she knows me. Like, I've seen her at my grandmother's house multiple times. Mm-hmm. She walked up to me and a few of my friends and said, "Excuse me, gentlemen," like trying to get past there. Mm-hmm. And then she says, I use that term gentleman loosely. To me at my bar mitzvah. I was like, wow, you're a bitch.
Yeah. I think that's kind of funny.
I mean, like, in retrospect, it's hysterical.
But I can see in that moment of like pride or like feeling like
it's just like the wrong day to do it. It's like I'm supposed to be welcomed into the Jewish community as an adult, so to speak.
I could definitely see how, and at that moment you're 13, like your synapses are firing in all kinds of directions.
Totally.
I can see being like, you know what, bitch, my grandma doesn't even like you. I could see you snapping in your head.
That's partially true. Yeah. But no. They were great friends. I'm not going to say her name, but the only reason I'm not going to say their name is because I met a Jewish comic from Baltimore who now lives in LA and is friends with their grandchildren. So there's all this type of like, yeah. So lots of different stuff there. Yeah, Jewish geography is only so small.
I was going to say, yeah.
But so anyway, adults, they were nice.
They were nice. Cool. My parents had live musician. My parents are big fans of caricature artists, and we had one. The same one who was at my 5-year-old birthday was at my engagement party. I love a good caricature artist.
That's why all the caricatures were so much shakier and Parkinsonian this time around.
I guess it doesn't matter. She was great.
I didn't see that.
But. Honestly, I was telling everyone, before the engagement party, like, we're gonna have a caricature artist, and I could tell that people were a little reticent. Like, right, but I was like, I don't even care because once that line was the whole party. Like, everyone was trying to get a caricature done. It's fun little thing, and it is unique. Time. Like, it's not real. I mean, I don't see them at many functions.
Yeah, because people are pricks apparently if they're giving you that look.
They are, but then they were all in line. Yeah,
great.
I think they're fun.
It's like having a cartoon of you drawn in the moment. Like, how the fuck can you not be on board with that?
It's so great.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah. So, I remember that, and there is one memory it plays a lot in my head. I just remember running through the backyard in the dress, jumping up on our deck, and I remember the feeling of being so happy. Yeah,
so
like
sweet.
I remember that. And then just an amalgamation of birthdays. My mom made our birthday cakes for most of our birthdays, and
That's
I really
awesome.
liked that. Yeah, I mean, I had some birthdays that there were a whole bunch of kids.
Yeah.
No homemade birthday cake for that.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
so. But when the parties got a bit more intimate and I became more selective, or my mom was like, okay, this is too many kids. You know, you pick your 5 or 7. She always made our birthday cakes, and I
love that.
always loved that. And I was like, that it just felt really nice. And I loved telling my friends, like, my mom made this birthday. Like, my mom made that.
It's badass.
It was dope. Yeah. I had a birthday, I don't remember what age, maybe 7, at a park in Santa Barbara, and that was super fun. Do
you remember which park?
I can, but like the only way I remember it is like I think Stowe Grove Park. I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It would make sense. I mean, that's pretty near your house.
Yeah, and like kind of by Kalita Valley. And
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it would either be that or like Tucker's Grove would be one of the two.
I have had parties at Tucker's Grove, but this one I think was Stowe Grove Park.
Nice.
And I do know that I got upset about something, and I climbed a tree so freaking high into the tree in a La Bamba dress.
Yeah.
And I remember not
being... That's when the twirl factor doesn't matter.
No. I remember not being afraid and just like really proud. Like, just again, the synapses flying everywhere. Yeah. Like, I remember whatever it was, I was really angry and wanted to isolate and, you know, what is it? Not abandonment. What is it? Avoidant. I was like early sign of like avoidant for handling. I'm working on it now, a lot better on it now. But yeah, when I look back, I'm like, oh wow, that was a classic avoidant. Like, if they can't find me, I don't have to talk about my feelings, but they'll know that I'm not happy.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
So essentially, I'm like, mission accomplished.
You nailed it. No. Yeah.
So I climbed up, and everyone was having a great time without me playing baseball. Like, they were still enjoying. A couple adults were doing their best. Like, they kept having their eye on me and kept trying to invite me down. And I remember at one point I was like, I think they've been punished enough, when really I was the only one being punished. I climbed back down, went back. I give it to all the adults. I don't have any memory of someone like taking me aside and chastising me. I think they were like, she's whatever happened. She's calmed down. It sounds like they kind of
let you do your thing in a nice way. Yeah.
Wild.
Without buying into like your histrionics.
No, yeah. They were just like, okay, well, we're gonna keep keeping on.
Yeah. And whenever you're ready.
100%.
We really appreciate this party you threw for us.
Yeah. I mean, really. And to their credit, they did mean that in the sense of like, when I was ready, it didn't. Yeah. It was like, okay, she's back.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
Which I think can be hard for adults. Like, I think it can be because I think as an adult, I would feel, I could see how someone could feel like, should this be a teachable moment? Should I take them aside? But really, if you've said, like, when you're ready, you can come back, and you also see that the child has regrounded and is like...
Yeah. Like how you said that right as Max shrieked in the background.
But so I went back to this tree many, many years later. I think I knew which one it was. I was like kind of remembering.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was unsafely high in that tree.
It was too much. Yeah.
I don't even know how. I was just like, well, I couldn't do that again.
That is funny. Now, random tangent with that, but you'll see how it's related.
Great.
Were you of the like? Let's say you had a piñata.
We did.
Would your parents? Where would they line you up in the piñata line?
Oh. I'll tell you this also about my parents. Oh, in the piñata line?
Yeah. So, like...
I don't think I got, like, first bat privilege. I think it was just...
No, I think there are one of two scenarios, I think, usually. It's either your first bat or last bat, depending on kind of...
Maybe I was first bat then, because I definitely wasn't last.
Yeah.
Maybe I was. But here's the thing.
I was always last bat. That's the way that my family operated always.
Yeah. My parents took the piñata duties very seriously.
Yeah.
Like, they would pack it, okay? And they were really good at... I didn't know where the hole was. Mm-hmm. They were sneaks about it. And they, you know, would pull it back. Like, I would even look at it, and I'm like, I can't even...
Yeah, where's
it? They're wizards. How did you...
Where's this candy coming from? Where's it going?
Right, where's the weak spot?
Yeah.
But my mom also, she never bought the little plastic candy bags, that they sell. She's like, that's ridiculous because she's like, they can't hold anything.
No.
And she'd also could get rid of like just any kind of gift bags or whatever that we had. So that's what we all had to gather the candy. Oh my God, I totally forgot about pinatas. What we had to gather all the candy. But she also was vigilante justice because I was a short kid, short adult.
Yeah.
So they were tall kids, whatever. So there were some kids who'd like body hug when the candy finally came out, or if it was taking too long. My parents would like if it had lost the structural integrity, but the little latch wasn't
totally
unlatching, then they'd shake it out because they want to.
Totally.
The kids are waiting. It's like, what else do we need to do? Like this thing is not busting. So they'd shake it out. So if someone jumped on the candy and tried to like hoard it around themselves,
like a fucking money machine,
to push it into their bag, my mom would literally walk through and be like, "Oh no, disaster zone!" and would like,
kick them in the mouth, that type of thing.
She'd kick the candy back out. She's like, "You can keep whatever gets in your bag, but you don't get to form Candy Mountain." And then say, no, this is my mountain. Like,
that's how you, absolutely kids, for all our under 18 viewers, that's how you don't get invited back to a birthday party. Just keep that in mind.
I think this was maybe their second birthday party they came back to. Yeah, their invites definitely petered out after that.
Questionable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that you don't be that kid. Don't be that kid. Like,
and there was plenty of kids. Like my parents were not stingy with it. That thing was, they had candies, they had toys. Like it was a solid piñata.
Totally. It's not like they're being deprived of candy. They're just being like stupidly competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. They just were like, we're not going to make this the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
And then I would be remiss if I didn't say, because several years ago, my mother asked me what my favorite gift was as a child. Definitely dropped the ball as a people pleaser, but now I'm a people pleaser in recovery. I was like, I don't know. Like, I thought I was giving a good answer, to be honest. Like, what's your favorite gift? I said, I don't really remember specific gifts, but I remember the feelings and the sentiments. And I remember always feeling so special. And so like, no, that's not what she wanted to hear. She's like, you don't remember your cell phone? That was a big gift. I'm like, oh man, that was a really big gift. And actually I was so excited to get that. And I've kind of been vying for it.
Your first cell phone?
I can remember. I was in high school.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe 15.
Yeah, that's how old I was. I was like 15 going on 16. Yeah.
Yeah. I think sophomore year. Yeah, because I definitely had one by junior year. I was pretty late in my friend group to get one though, but I also wasn't driving and everyone did, like the kind of excuse was, well, everyone else has.
Yeah.
Oh no, I still didn't drive until college. But everyone else has a cell phone. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Well, we have next week's topic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up, like, the only people that I knew in college that didn't drive until college grew up in, like, New York City. Like, we're, like, Manhattan, Brooklyn, didn't matter. Yeah, that is wild.
Into college. I went to college with no driver's license. For months, I had no driver's license.
Man, well.
In college.
How the fuck did you get around in high school? Was it your parents or your friends?
Both, but one of my best friend in high school, she got her driver's license and her mom got her a car, but her mom was like, caveat, you can only use the car if you have somewhere to go.
So they'd always be to go to your house or take you somewhere.
Take me somewhere.
Hell yeah. That's smart.
And of course, I had nowhere to go, but we lived all the way in Goleta, and I was like, back when, you didn't, back when you could cruise down State Street, like that was fun. We're like, let's drive all the way downtown.
Yeah.
And let's cruise down State Street.
Totally.
Yeah, I was so late to learning how to drive here that I thought, because when you're not driving, you really aren't paying attention because you don't need to.
Yeah.
And I know you feel like that when you're kind of passenger now, but you know where things are now because you've been driving for so long. You live here. The first time I drove,
this is not my experience in life at all, but
of course, because you remember everything.
But I can totally understand how this would be an experience for you or for
somebody. Many people.
Yeah. For people. Yeah.
So the first time I drove myself to State Street.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there wasn't a GPS. Like, I couldn't just...
Yeah, we used to print it out on MapQuest.
Print it out or just figure it out. I I was so excited and nervous. I took the State Street exit to get to State Street. Now this seems, people are like, that's the right thing to do. No,
That's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
That will put you at like the 4,000 block.
And you really want to get down to
like the end of it.
600.
So it's like, we're talking about like 3.5 miles.
Yeah. And you're driving through, you are off, and now you're driving through the residential streets that, like, there's a lot of State Street that is stoplights everywhere, and it's not cruising. But I was so nervous, and I was like, I don't know how to get back on the freeway. Like, even though there's all these signs that are like, and we only have one freeway, but I was just, I was new. I was like, I'm just gonna stay, because I know that this is State Street.
Wow.
This is where I want to be. So the first time I drove down State Street, I drove
down State Street.
All of State Street.
Good. Well, you need to. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to know how I used to, we'll totally pivot, and then I want to hear about your birthdays.
I know.
Do you know how I used to course correct when I did get my driver's license and lived in San Diego? Pre-GPS.
Oh my God, I don't even want to know. But how? San Diego's a different ball of wax there.
Yeah. It is. And before I moved, my mom laid out a map and was explaining to me, like, back in the day, she's like, odds go north and south, evens go east and west. Like this, to keep that in mind. And you're going to have the 8 and there's a lot of freeways. There's a lot of freeways in San Diego. I didn't realize how lucky I was to just have, in my opinion, lucky, because there is only one freeway. You don't really have to think that much. How I would course correct when I would feel myself getting lost or think that I was lost, I would get on the 8 west and just drive till I hit the ocean and then turn around, because San Diego State, from San Diego State, I always knew how to get to like where I lived, and I always lived very close to San Diego State, because that's where I spent most of my time, because I was there in school, and that's where I wanted to live. So once I was back by San Diego State, I knew where everything was. And I did that for a long time, and my friends would laugh so much. And I was like, well, because I know the 8 West ends. Like, that's it. It's going to end.
Totally.
And it's not going to take very long, and I'll be at the beach, and then I just turn around. And then I'm in the 8 East, and San Diego State is on the 8 East. I'll find it. And
that's
I did that many times.
Wow.
That was how I would course correct.
That is wild.
Gas was also cheaper, so it was less of a... It was a financial strain, but it was less than,
I just
than now.
like I just like how you're using like 1600s directionality. It's like, well, just go to the ocean and recalibrate. Yeah. Head to the coast.
Reset. Yeah. I would tell my mom, like, oh, I'm so glad I wasn't in the Midwest, because that plan wouldn't work.
No, it would not have worked.
I've been driving for 2.5 days.
Yeah, there's farmland everywhere, and I don't know which farm is farm.
Yeah.
That's really funny. That's really good. Yeah. That kind of reminds me a little bit of my freshman year of college. It was wintertime. I was in Minnesota. I went to a small school in Minnesota, Carleton College, and my best friend and roommate Jerry, he used to live we were living together freshman year too, and he used to go to these parties like 8 blocks off campus, and we lived on campus on the totally opposite corner of the 8 blocks off campus. It was like 1.5 miles away. Mm. But so anyway, I get a call from Jerry at like 1:30 in the morning, and he's like, Sam, I'm lost. I don't know where I am. This is like...
Oh, I've made those calls.
Yeah, we still had flip phones at the time. We didn't have any whatever. It's still all those things.
No internet on your phone, or it was exorbitant, and it did not work.
Yeah,
it didn't work like it does now. It didn't.
It didn't. And so like the numbered streets would run parallel to campus. Okay. Named streets would be perpendicular to campus. So I say, okay, just walk to the nearest street sign. Tell me where you are so I can put it on still MapQuest at the time.
Right. You're like, I'm on a computer.
I'm going to do it, and then I can direct us back. And so...
You were a live action,
whatever.
GPS.
So he goes to it and he says, I'm on the corner of Maple and Elm. And I'm like, okay. Well, it makes sense that you couldn't follow the name streets back. And he's like all the way out to the point where one of those streets curves there. He's like 2 miles off
no.
campus. So I'm like walking him back, like street by street,
Right, like,
following
what
the
street are
map
you? Mhm.
on the computer until I know that like he doesn't have to make any more turns, and then I leave to go find him on the corner of whatever
And it's
else.
winter
Yeah,
at 1:30 in the morning.
at 1:30 in the morning. Now here's the.
At least you kept him walking. His blood flow.
Now here's the funny. Yeah, oh, I did. He was like, he had a beard. He was covered in frost in the front. I hope he's okay with me telling the story. We've told it so many times, but this is the really funny part. So there's this guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he found me running to Jerry on campus, knowing where Jerry was, and
a stranger.
No, he was friends with us, kind of, But so anyway, then like we brought him back to like the one dorm before going to ours. They're just kind of like cool, like heat him up, like get like some of this frozen stuff off of him before kind of transitioning. This dude though had a crush on Kelly. This before Kelly and I were dating, but it's kind of funny. And the next morning, apparently, he described to Kelly the story of finding Jerry and I bumbling around incoherently through Northfield, being like, whatever. He saved us. It's like, that's not what happened. Not even close to what happened. Like, neither one of us was that inebriated to be able to even like be there. Like, Jerry was cold as fuck, but like, it wasn't that he was that intoxicated. He just got lost. He just was. Cold. And we found out later on that this was a thing he used to do. Then we figured out is that like, he would be on Division, which is kind of the main street, and this house is on 8th and Division where he used to go, and he would always turn the wrong way out of Division Street, just constantly. We found out later on as we're like getting through this here, so that was how it ended up. It wasn't anything to do with whatever else, but just ridiculous. Yeah,
I will say
I ended up with her. Just so you remember that,
right? And I was gonna say it kind of feels like a flex because if it was before you and Kelly were dating, I feel like the fact that he somehow knew that if he like told Kelly that he saved you, like maybe you were like, Sam, there was no twinkle. I don't know. I'm saying he was using
he probably
you,
knew what the deal
like,
was.
hey Kelly, like listen, like you're single, I'm single. You might like Sam, but like I saved him, so we should date because and Kelly's like, I don't.
No, thanks.
But you know what I mean?
Like, I agree. I probably was.
Yeah, you for sure won, obviously. But like the fact that even pre-dating, he was like, God, like, I'm feeling this connect. So I'm gonna use the fact that I feel that she has a connection with him, or like there's something going on.
Yeah.
As a way to weasel in. Yeah, it's weird, but it's a weird flex.
It's a weird flex and didn't work out. Didn't work out. But yeah, that was a great. I mean, Jerry and I saved each other so many times on both accounts throughout those 4 years and even after that. But like that was like one of the first where it was like saving the other. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, good times at college.
Good times. Let's go pre-college. Do you have a birthday?
I have a birthday
that stands out in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I do. So I used to do mainly bowling birthdays. I really like bowling birthdays.
I love bowling birthdays.
That was
Did
really
you do glow bowling, like, or just regular?
Just regular for the most part. Okay. Yeah, I did glow bowling when I was like in like high school, and so like that's what we'd want to do and go out. But like not when I was like 6. It was midday.
Yeah. No, you weren't cool. I got it.
No, I wasn't. Of course, we also had duck pin bowling in.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah. Well, you're not cool. It's okay. So anyway, in Baltimore, there and throughout the East Coast too, but mainly in Baltimore, I've seen this is like they have smaller pins with smaller balls, and so like
that's cute.
Kids can do this. You get 3 rounds instead of 2 per thing.
Okay.
And kids can do this, and it the pins aren't lined up as well, so you can't get as many like great scores and other things like that. They're not quite as tightly packed, but it's just a lot more fun. And like the balls are like palm size. You don't need to put fingers in them or anything like that.
That does sound that sounds really fun for kids.
It sounds really fun for kids. So I remember doing that in 1st grade, and like so this was like the first time that I can like remember everybody in my class coming to my birthday party, and I just was so happy. I just remember just being like, all these people are in my class and they're coming here, and there's my parents and my cousin and my aunt and uncle, and my grandma and grandpa. Those are really those are the family members that I grew up with for the most part. It was just like my parents' cousin, and uncle, grandma, and grandpa. That was it. And I was just like so happy, just like seeing everybody like that. And I remember distinctly like all the like girls I had a crush on then. At that point, like they were all the girls that like I had like little like first grade weddings with at that time had all come, and I was just like I felt so like so cool. Yeah, it just was really neat, and so
it's that feeling though that sticks with you, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is that feeling. It's definitely like, and that's the thing. It's less about the specifics. I mean, I think like there are some people that definitely lean on that more, but I know for me, and I think that it sounds like a case for you, and I think it'll be the case for my kids too. Is like it's that feeling of being loved and cared for, and like having those people bonding around you in that way. And so I thought it was so cool. Yeah.
That is really cool. And for the record, I had some bowling birthdays. I loved bowling.
I know you did. Yeah.
I still, and like glow bowling, I think is super fun.
It is the most fun. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. We used to call it disco bowling out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
either
like
way.
the 1 hour of glow bowling instead of per game, because an hour
with
4 people as an adult when you're drinking a little, like, cause you know me, I really do.
I know you're an alky. I get it. Yeah.
But like drinking a little, eating some food, hour of glow bowling, you get about a game and a half. And honestly, after a game and a half, I'm kind of tapped out. Like I rarely want to do 2 full games.
I like 2 full games, but
then you would have to keep it if we as a foursome went out bowling, you would be in charge of keeping us on track.
Yeah, absolutely.
First game, I'm keeping everyone. I'm like, let's go. Yeah. I want to see who's winning and stuff. And then the second game, like,
yeah. It's good.
So you know, you'd be like, Sam, it's your turn.
I like playing 3 rounds, and I'll tell you why.
I don't want that.
Well, you listen, and then you might change your mind. 1 round's the warm-up round. 2nd round's for real. 3rd round, fuck around. That is usually the best way to do it there. Yeah, just doing all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
I go straight into the real round, so I skip a warm-up. And then the second is the fucker.
Well, that's your mistake. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try this formula. It will not disappoint. I guarantee you, it will change your bowling life. It's not a lot of bowling.
Feels like a lot of bowling.
Well, this not for a kid whose greatest birthday memory was in the bowling alley.
You're right.
It's not too much bowling. Yeah. The other bowling or the other birthday party or birthday I really remember like most distinctly, and this is kind of sad, but it's the way that my brain works. Is it was my 14th birthday. I remember exactly what I was wearing. My parents, brother, and we went out to the Cheesecake Factory in downtown Baltimore, or Inner Harbor, really. And I just remember, like, my mind does a lot of like weird things with like intervals and timing. So like, I remember when I was 21, I would then think about like, wow, I have now lived 1.5 times what I lived up until that birthday in terms of that 14th one. And I always kind of, for a long time, would think about it in those intervals. And like, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it's like, it's a little sad, but it's okay. Yeah, it was.
But everybody's brain
works a little bit different. So, yeah. And my brain works in a way that's not envious. Yeah. It's trapped in itself. Constantly aware of its own mortality.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
I know. It's terrible. It just happens. That's okay. Yeah. But I do have fond memories of that, and I have just like, I don't know, I felt like I had a pretty decent time on most of my birthdays. Nothing was ever like too extravagant. We'd do like bowling parties or just like parties at my grandparents' house, and that like arts and crafts type stuff, and that was pretty much it. But it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I remember I had one year where everybody got sick on my birthday, and so then nobody came over. And I only invited.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I'd only because I was doing a sleepover, so sleepover numbers had to drop way down.
You winnow it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my mom said I could have 4, maybe 5. Probably 4. Like thinking of just like because I'm a lot like her as an adult, and I'd be like, God, 5 kids plus my own kid. At this time, my brother was also alive, so like plus that's a lot of children in the home. Yeah. So she probably said 4, and yeah, I was so sad, and it's that beautiful ADHD rejection sensitivity. So I took it all very personally, as if it was happening to me.
Yeah.
Or because of me, and
it was.
that one was a bummer, but like it was a minor blip. Like,
yeah,
I think my parents still made sure that I felt
good.
You can't
be loved every year.
Jesus, I hope you tell your kids that every day.
I never tell my kids. I tell my patients.
Well, I tell your kids that, so don't worry. I got you covered.
Yeah. That's first and last time you'll be here.
Well, that's okay. We'll just zoom this over.
Yeah.
We're
Sundays with Sam. We are no longer physically together because Sam has been banished from the house.
I'm just outside the window. That wide angle lens.
Right, the window right there goes right next to the front door. So yeah,
we can outside of the fence, the gate even. So
well, we'll see if I'll let you in the gate.
But exactly, I know.
Yeah. I'll put a little chair right there. There's a chair right there facing perfectly. Yeah, that's your spot now. Sundays with Sam. Yeah.
Sam's out there. Oh my gosh.
That'll be good.
13th birthday, I did skip over the bat mitzvah. That was a big one.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a good time.
I think because that one to me is so much more about the bat mitzvah of it and less on like the birthday, even though they're so symbiotic. But I think of that as that moment and less of like, because I think we were talking more just a regular birthday.
Yeah. No.
Because that's a whole thing. You're planning for a year for that.
At least. The B'nai Mitzvah, I mean, like, the amount of time that we spend, like, learning those Torah and Haftorah portions, a lot.
And then the pressure, the rabbi, right before I carried the Torah, they whispered in my ear, remember, don't drop it.
Yeah.
Or you have to, how long do you have to fast?
I don't fucking know.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
It was either a month, 3 months, or a year. Probably a year. I don't know. The number was big, and I was like, why are you telling me this right now? A little person to carry.
Should fake it out. Oh, my bad.
I think my brother did that.
I'm sure he would.
And
I
was like,
yeah, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Sorry if we lose any viewers when you figure out that we're both Jewish, but yikes.
Want to hear something funny that happened in my bat mitzvah though?
Absolutely, I do.
Great. So my mother's Catholic. So there's going to be people who are like, oh, she's not really Jewish. Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of, he made an honorable drop-in at my bat mitzvah. So my...
Jesus?
I'm going to tell you how. So my Jewish cousins flew in from Rice Lake, and they were all excited. I had friends who were there. My friends were really cute. I remember they were really confused about like how to open the book. They were like, it's backwards. I'm like, it's not backwards. It's a different language.
Yeah, you're just a moron.
But they showed up, and both of my parents said, a couple of nice words to me up at the temple. My mom says her kind of sentiment to me in Spanish. So we get back to the house, and my cousins, who don't speak Spanish, ask her in front of kind of everyone, the after party celebration, what did you say to Samantha up there? And my mother, in front of the rabbi who came back to her house, the cantor who came back to her house, these two guys who I'd known since I was born, but who I remembered since kindergarten. My mom, my dad, my friends, my whole family. She says very loudly, oh, I baptize you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My dad could not stop laughing. It was hysterical. So funny. The rabbi laughed, the cantor laughed. You know who didn't laugh? My cousins, who thought she was being absolutely serious.
Oh my
They were
God.
completely humorless about it.
That's so lame.
And one of them literally did a pearl clutch and went, oh, you didn't really say that. And that's my mom was like, no, I didn't say that. And
yeah, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, and I was like, even if you didn't speak Spanish, like Jesus Cristo,
you
couldn't
it would.
Those two words were not said.
It would have been really, really obvious.
Obvious
to know that. Yeah, it's like faux outrage. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. On a birthday note.
I love it.
There was an outrageous birthday I went to. It wasn't mine.
What was it?
So I went to Laguna Blanca Junior High.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, my wife did too.
Well, I met her before you, so.
That's okay. I remember her, and you didn't, so.
She remembered me.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
Anyway, there was a girl there, and she had 2 birthdays for 1 year. I was surprised at that. So she invited me and a couple girls over to like spend the night at her house and then go to Universal Studios the next day.
Big time.
Yeah, and the mom was like, we're gonna pay for everybody to go to Universal Studios. My mom was like, I don't know if they really are or whatnot. And also, she was like, I think she gave me like $200. She's like, if you need to buy your ticket, and here's for your food and whatever.
In case, yeah.
You need. There you go. I never had to touch that money. That mom, she bought us everything.
Oh, good.
She got the tickets and snacks and food and all this. And then when we were there, she bought her daughter a $300 costume dress as we were leaving. I was like, oh my God, wow. Like,
that's intense.
Yeah. So how was the birthday? I was like, this was great. This was, This was a lot of fun. This was wild. Like, good time. Thank you. 2 weeks later, I get an invitation in the mail that they're having another birthday for all of the kids in the class who couldn't go on this overnight.
All the losers. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, this is dope. I didn't even know you could do this.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, another Saturday. You get sent off and like, okay, no worries. I get to the house and I think I'm just really confused because outside of this junior high, all my friends, myself, you have one birthday party and like sink or swim, when all those kids got sick, my mom was like, well, this was your birthday party. Yeah. Like, love you. I'm really sorry. Yeah, it is what it is. We're not doing this again. So I go, they had hired makeup artists and I've seen they gave us before and after pictures. They had a professional photographer. For anyone coming out as junior high, they were great junior high makeup artists. It was basically how much glitter can they slap on our face?
Yeah.
No one was coming out Kardashian. Like
clowns. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but looked great. We were shimmering everywhere.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Yeah.
And hair was shellacked. I mean, we were quintessential, just like 90s little kids. It was great. And they had photographers.
Mm-hmm.
They had gift bags for everyone. I'm like, yo, nice gift bags. I was just like, where am I?
Yeah. Grammys. Yeah, Grammys.
It felt like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Then the dad happened to be from a family that used to they had a pizza restaurant growing up. So he, in this gorgeous home, paid somebody to install 2 professional grade pizza ovens.
Damn.
Plus their own. I was like, you guys have a lot of cookware happening.
Yeah, totally.
So he was slinging Zaz, and they were great. Nice. Then, party's still not over. Oh, and there's a DJ.
Hell yeah.
That's there.
Yeah.
She's with us for 12. She's only 12. Then the mother rented a limo to take us from Montecito to downtown Santa Barbara to a movie theater, and we saw Remember the Titans.
Great movie.
All of these little 12-year-old girls with all of this glitter and stuff.
This is a great movie.
Jump out of the limo one by one. She bought
Not a single one of them was black. Yeah.
She bought.
I said that with a statement. I didn't ask it as a question.
Yeah, she bought all of our tickets, then bought all of us popcorn, drinks, and candy. And I was just like, this is the best. Like, are we having another birthday in 2 more weeks? Like, this is ridiculous. It was great. And then I went home. And and you know what? The saddest thing, I don't think the little girl liked either birthdays. And I was just like, I'm having a great time.
Yeah. I think
I don't even understand why you're so mad at your parents, but thank you.
Fancy birthdays, I feel like, are only enjoyed by those who are there.
Not part of the family.
And not part of the family and everybody. Because if you're throwing that type of fancy birthday, you probably don't appreciate it.
She didn't. I did. I had a great time.
Hey, that's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
That swag bag.
Yeah. People didn't even take all the swag bags, so I took a couple extras.
Hell yeah, as you should have.
Yeah. Like, they paid. What were they going to do with all these extras?
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The screaming.
Well,
I think that's
our Sundays with Sam.
That's our Sundays with Sam. Yeah, that scream denotes the end of this week's Sundays with Sam. So, hey, per usual, I am your host, Sam Bear. Thank you guys for tuning in. And this is
Unpaid Intern Sam. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Give us a follow on Instagram or on YouTube, Spotify, all the things, and let us know about your favorite birthday.
Yeah,
before 18, because we don't care about after that.
Yeah, after 18, you shouldn't be celebrating your birthday. Grow the fuck up. Oh, and on that note, we've been saying.
Bye.